In early 2025, fans of the Partridge Family and LA Law were caught off guard when rare news emerged about Susan Dey, the woman who had long chosen to live away from the spotlight. Now 72, Dey's quiet life was suddenly the focus of public attention after a close friend revealed that the actress had been facing a serious health challenge in recent years, one that she had kept entirely private. For someone who had always valued her privacy, the revelation was deeply moving. The story quickly spread through entertainment circles, not because of scandal, but because of the sheer respect people had for her strength. While many former stars of her generation stayed in Hollywood's glare, Susan had disappeared into peaceful anonymity. But the latest news brought her name back into conversations everywhere, and with it, a flood of love and gratitude from fans who had never forgotten her gentle charm. Susan Dey was born on December 10, 1952, in Pekin, Illinois. Her childhood was filled with books, nature, and imagination, a world away from Hollywood's glitter. After her mother passed away when Susan was just 8 years old, she developed an early sense of independence and strength. She later moved to New York, where her natural beauty led her into modeling during her teen years. But fate had bigger plans. In 1970, when she was only 17, Susan was cast as Laurie Partridge in the Partridge Family. Practically overnight, she became one of America's sweethearts. With her shy smile and bright eyes, she embodied the innocence and warmth of the era. The show's massive success made her a household name, and her image appeared on posters, lunchboxes, and magazine covers across the country. While millions adored her as the wholesome Laurie Partridge, few knew how difficult fame was for the young actress behind the scenes. Susan entered the entertainment industry with no prior acting experience, and the pressure of instant fame weighed heavily on her. In later years, she admitted that she struggled with insecurity and body image issues throughout her teenage stardom. The constant media attention didn't help. Every appearance, every photograph was scrutinized. "It's hard to grow up when the whole world is watching you," one of her former co-stars once said about her. Despite it all, Susan remained professional, focused, and deeply committed to her work. But the price of perfection in Hollywood would leave scars she carried for years. Among the most talked about parts of Susan's early career was her close relationship with her Partridge Family co-star, David Cassidy. Their on-screen chemistry fueled rumors of a real-life romance, and fans desperately wanted it to be true. Behind the scenes, Susan and David did grow close, but their friendship became complicated as fame consumed them both. Years later, Cassidy admitted in his memoir that Susan had developed strong feelings for him, but the timing was never right. The unspoken tension between them lingered long after the show ended. When Cassidy passed away in 2017, Susan stayed silent, choosing not to make a public statement, a decision that reflected both her deep privacy and the emotional distance she had long maintained from Hollywood. After the Partridge Family ended in 1974, Susan could have faded into the child star category, but she didn't. Determined to prove her range, she took on serious roles in film and television. Her performances in Echo Park and Looker showed critics that she was more than just a teenage idol. Then came her defining role in the 1980s legal drama LA Law, where she played attorney Grace Van Owen. The series transformed her career, earning her a Golden Globe Award and 3 Emmy nominations. For the first time, she was being recognized for her acting talent rather than her appearance. Susan's portrayal of a strong, intelligent woman in a male-dominated profession resonated deeply with audiences. It was a reinvention that only a few Hollywood stars have ever managed, and she did it with quiet determination. Despite her success, fame continued to take a toll on Susan's mental health. The entertainment industry's demands were relentless, and the pressure to maintain her image only intensified. Friends described her as disciplined but withdrawn, a perfectionist who rarely allowed herself to rest. In private, Susan battled loneliness and anxiety, but she rarely opened up about it publicly. By the early 1990s, she began to distance herself from the spotlight. She appeared in fewer roles, preferring small, thoughtful projects that gave her creative freedom. Her decision confused many at the time. Why would someone at the peak of their career choose to step away? But as she would later explain, she simply wanted peace. She was tired of being watched, judged, and defined by others. By the late 1990s, Susan Dey had made a decision that would change her life. She walked away from acting altogether. Her final appearance came in 2004 in the television movie Rain. After that, she vanished from the public eye. No interviews, no red carpets, no social media. It was as if she had closed the door on fame and never looked back. Those who knew her said she had finally found the freedom she had always longed for. She settled into a quiet life with her husband, television producer Bernard Safransky, whom she married in 1988. Together, they built a life far removed from Hollywood. Neighbors in upstate New York described her as kind, grounded, and private, a woman who preferred gardening and reading to glitz and glamour. For years, fans wondered what had become of her. Then, in early 2025, reports surfaced that Susan had been facing health issues but was remaining resilient and surrounded by loved ones. A family friend described her as at peace and grateful for the life she's lived. The revelation left longtime fans emotional, flooding social media with tributes, prayers, and memories of her most beloved roles. What touched people most was not the illness itself, but the grace with which she handled it. True to her character, Susan never sought sympathy or attention. She only wanted to remind others to cherish their health and find balance in their lives. "She's always been strong, even in silence," said one insider. Susan never stopped being Laurie Partridge at heart, hopeful, loving, and brave. While Susan Dey has lived outside the public eye for decades, her impact remains timeless. The Partridge Family continues to air in reruns, introducing her to new generations who fall in love with her all over again. Her character symbolized innocence, family, and optimism, qualities that are rare in today's entertainment world. Even her later work in LA Law continues to be praised by critics and rewatched by fans who admire her subtle, intelligent performances. She proved that you don't have to be loud to be powerful, or visible to be influential. Her legacy lies not just in the roles she played, but in the courage it took to walk away and live life on her own terms. At 72, Susan Dey represents something that Hollywood rarely celebrates: quiet dignity. Her decision to prioritize peace, health, and family over fame is now being recognized as an act of courage rather than retreat. She's living proof that success isn't always about staying in the spotlight. Sometimes it's about knowing when to step out of it. The latest update about her health has saddened fans, but it has also reminded everyone why she mattered so much in the first place. She was never just an actress, she was a symbol of authenticity in a world of illusions. And as her story continues to inspire millions, Susan Dey remains, as always, the girl who captured America's heart and then chose to protect her own.